Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into Ezekiel the 46th chapter, and just continuing from where we left off in the 45th chapter. As you can see in the subheading, the prince's offerings, and it basically just goes into like the different offerings that the high priest would make, and basic things like that. Now, this is Ezekiel 46 verse 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and in the day of the new moon it shall be opened. And going to show you, right, that there's always that correlation between the Sabbath and the new moon, because the new moon is the ushering in of the Sabbath, okay, of whatever, whenever that new moon falls, it's going to be the Sabbath for that month. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, which in, I believe the 41st, I think 40th, 41st, 42nd, 43rd, we went into like the the design of the temple. So you saw where the porch was and how the gate actually looked. It wasn't just like 2 doors, and then all of that. It says, and shall stand by the post of the gate, and the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. So on that Sabbath day, on the new moon, they're going to leave that gate open. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before the Lord Yahweh in the Sabbaths and in the new moons. And the burnt offering that the prince shall offer unto the Lord Yahweh in the Sabbath day shall be 6 lambs without blemish, and a ram without blemish. And once again, without blemish meaning it's not deformed, or nothing is wrong with it. It's nice and pure. And the meat offering shall be an ephah for a ram. And once again, meat offering here, it's not talking about actual meat. It's a gift offering, and usually it was flour. So it would be an ephah of that flour for a ram, and the meat offering for the lambs shall be as he is able to give. So however much you were able to give for that offering. And an hin of oil to an ephah. So you would also give for each ephah of flour, you would bring an hin of oil. And in the day of the new moon it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs and a ram, they shall be without blemish. And he shall prepare a meat offering and an ephah for a bullock. Once again, meat offering, gift offering. We looked into that word, which I'll look into it again. When you go into meat offering here, it tells you, it says a gift offering, a grain offering, which mainly, like I said, that's the form it came in. And he shall prepare a meat offering, an ephah for a bullock, and an ephah for a ram, and for the lambs according as his hand shall attain unto, and an hin of oil to an ephah. And when the prince shall enter, he shall go in by the way of the porch of that gate, and he shall go forth by the way thereof. So he's able to go in and out through that gate. But when the people of the land come before the Lord Yahweh in the solemn feasts, he that entereth in by the way of the north gate to worship shall go out by the way of the south gate. And he that entereth in by the way of the south gate shall go forth by the way of the north gate. So as it says, he shall not return by the way of the gate whereby he came in, but shall go forth over against it. Meaning, it's pretty self-explanatory, but when it says over against it, it means the one opposite, right? If you come through here, you got to exit through that other one. You can't come back, exit through the same gate. Verse 10, and the prince in the midst of them, when they go in, shall go in, and when they go forth, shall go forth. And in the feasts and in the solemnities, the meat offering shall be an ephah to a bullock, and an ephah to a ram, and to the lambs as he is able to give, and an hin of oil to an ephah. Now when the prince shall prepare a voluntary burnt offering, right, because there were offerings that you had to do for whatever the case is, but there were also offerings that were voluntary, right, or peace offerings voluntarily unto the Lord. One shall then open him the gate that looketh toward the east, and he shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings as he did on the Sabbath day. Then he shall go forth, and after his going forth, one shall shut the gate. And this is different from what we read above, right? Because on the Sabbath it would be open and it wouldn't be shut until the evening. Verse 13, thou shalt daily prepare a burnt offering unto the Lord Yahweh of a lamb of the first year without blemish. Thou shalt prepare it every morning. So every morning there would be an oblation to the Lord. And thou shalt prepare a meat offering for it every morning, the 6th part of an ephah, and the 3rd part of an hin of oil to temper with the fine flour. See, and that came from the meat offering. A meat offering continually by a perpetual ordinance unto the Lord Yahweh. Thus shall they prepare the lamb and the meat offering and the oil every morning for a continual burnt offering. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, if the prince give a gift unto any of his sons, the inheritance thereof shall be his sons. It shall be their possession by inheritance. But if he give a gift of his inheritance, because remember we read in the previous chapter, there was a portion of land that was allocated to the prince, right, the high priest. So if he gave a portion of that as a gift to his sons, it would be their sons, by way of inheritance. But if he gave a portion of his inheritance, and mainly here it's talking about his land, to one of his servants, then it shall be his, meaning the servants, to the year of liberty. After it shall return to the prince, but his inheritance shall be his sons for them. So you may give this portion to a servant, but on the year of liberty, it'll come back to him. So that way it can continue through his line, okay, and it can be passed down on to his sons. Moreover, the prince shall not take of the people's inheritance by oppression, to thrust them out of their possession, but he shall give his sons inheritance out of his own possession, that my people be not scattered every man from his possession. So he can't say, all right, give me such and such as land, I'm gonna give it to my son. If you're gonna give your son some inheritance, you do it from your whatever you own. That way, you're not taking somebody out of their own land and giving it to somebody else. And like it says, everybody is scattered from their possession. Verse 19, after he brought me through the entry, which was at the side of the gate, into the holy chambers of the priests, which looketh toward the north. And behold, there was a place on the 2 sides westward. And he said unto me, this is the place where the priests shall boil the trespass offering and the sin offering, where they shall bake the meat offering, that they bear them not out into the outer court to sanctify the people. So there was a specific place allocated to doing these things, like I mentioned in the previous chapter, that there was a practical, ministry, all right, that needed, or ministering that needed to happen for the temple, right? Like the priests are actually, when they're boiling the offering or they're preparing it, you need bowls, you need water, you need utensils and all of that. And there was a place where they would do this. Verse 21, then he brought me forth into the outer court and caused me to pass by the 4 corners of the court. And behold, in every corner of the court there was a court. In the 4 corners of the court there were courts joined of 40 cubits long and 30 broad. These 4 corners were of one measure. And there was a row of building round about in them, round about them 4, and it was made with boiling places under the rows round about, so places they could boil the offerings. Then said he unto me, these are the places of them that boil, where the ministers of the house shall boil the sacrifice of the people, like I just mentioned. So, not too much in here, just, mainly going into the ordinances of really the sacrifice and where and how it relates to the temple and so on and so forth, and the high priest. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.